One of the great things about Dungeons & Dragons is that there's so many different ways to play this game and so many different tricks that we can use to make running the game easier and make it more fun for us and our players. Today I'm going to offer 3 tricks to make running D&D just a little bit easier. My first trick is to add damage up rather than subtracting from the monster's starting hit points. A common approach is that we look at what the monster's starting hit points are and we subtract damage from that hit point total so that we can see how many hit points the monster has left. I don't know why it is, but adding numbers up is just faster than subtracting numbers down. So instead of keeping track of the monster's current hit points and subtracting from that hit point total, we can instead add the amount of damage up that a monster has taken and then compare it to the monster's starting hit points. If the total damage crosses over the monster's starting hit points, then we know that the monster's out of commission. It's a really easy trick, but it really can speed things up if you're adding damage up rather than subtracting damage from hit points. Another little bonus trick is that we can actually hand this job over to the players. If you're finding that you're getting a little overwhelmed on the DM side of things, you can ask one of the players to track the damage that's being done to the monsters. This is information they already have if they've been bothering to keep track, so you're not really giving the players any kind of advantage. But adding damage up is just a faster way to track damage done to monsters. My second trick is to find a way to show off the initiative order to everybody at the table rather than just keeping it on the DM side of things. If you're playing online, you might be tracking initiative in a text editor or a word processor, or you might have a virtual tabletop that's already tracking initiative for you. If your tool already shows initiative to all of the players, then you're already doing great. But if your system doesn't have a way to show the initiative order to the players, it really helps to find a way to share that initiative order with everybody at the table. This has the advantage of showing players when they're coming up in the order and having players remind one another when it's their turn to come up, rather than keeping everything on the DM side of things. Generally, when you show off information like this, information they would already know because they've all been rolling initiative themselves, it's a lot faster and the players are going to stay more engaged with what's happening at the table. Just like tracking monster damage, this is a job we can hand over to our players as well. You can ask one player to track initiative during the game, and that way, when you call for an initiative roll, you can kind of step back and get ready for your combat encounter, while the initiative tracker is actually asking players for all of their initiative order. My third trick is to promote shared note-taking. Taking notes is one of the best ways for a player to stay engaged with the game. It helps keep them busy. It helps them think and write down things even when it's not their turn, or even if there's a long section where the DM is describing history. It's a great way for them to stay engaged with the game and understand what's going on and keep track of how things have progressed over time. So it's really good for a DM to help promote and help nudge players to take notes, even multiple players to take notes. And if you have a way to do it, setting up a way for the players to share their notes together, maybe you use a shared Google Doc, or maybe you use something like Notion to share notes, so that not only can the players take notes and share them among one another, but maybe even modify one ongoing set of notes. This has the advantage that everybody's kind of keeping track of what's going on in the game, and anybody who sort of slipped away for a little bit and doesn't understand what's happening can go back over the notes and see exactly what's been going on. It also really helps you as a DM, because during your prep, you can go take a look at those notes too. You can see what the players were keeping track of, what kind of stuff they seem to be interested in, and maybe pick up things that you even forgot happened during the game. Having players take notes is just a fantastic way for them to stay engaged, and also a really valuable tool for you as a DM to see what's happened in your game. I hope you enjoyed these 3 tips. If you did, you can help me out by subscribing to the Sly Flourish newsletter, supporting me directly on Patreon, picking up any of my books, or subscribing to my videos on YouTube. Thank you very much and have a great day.